Hey guys, thought I'd do a quick video for you today on a joining knot called the SheetBend. This one's really useful, really easy to tie. You can use different diameter rope. I wouldn't go too large on the difference, or else you run the risk of the larger rope, crushing or pinching or damaging the smaller one. So I wouldn't go any more than twice the size of the smallest one you're using. So anyway, let's take a look at this. It's really easy to tie. You can either have a fixed loop and use that, or just simply fold that over. Makes no difference. You want to come up through the center, back around, and then back under itself. This creates a nice loop for it to grab onto. Now again, with the smaller ropes, it kind of torques it and runs it a little different. In fact, you see, this is kind of pulling apart. If they were both the same, yeah, well now that it's tight it helps, but you can see how using two different ropes could be a problem. I'm only doing it so you can see it better on camera. So let's take a look at that one more time. And again, if you already had a fixed loop, it would be the same thing. Let's just use that. Up through the center, back around, and back under itself. And as you can see, that pulls onto itself, so it's always locking. So this one can handle a load, a tight load real well. Can go in any direction. So it's a real simple, useful one to know. Next up, I'm going to show you a couple more ways to tie this. Okay, this next one up is called a double sheet bend, and you essentially tie a sheet bend 2 times. So again, you can either have a fixed loop or just double it over. You want to leave a little more room this time, but you come up through the middle, back around itself, and underneath. And then it's going to do the same thing and go back around and back under itself. And as you can see, this time it creates 2 loops. So that's also just a good way to make it a little bit stronger. Alright, this next one is called a one-way sheet bend, and is very useful for if you have to pull things over terrain or through water, because it ends up putting both tag ends of the line in the same direction. So let's look at that. Come up through the middle, back under itself. Now this time you want to come back around and on top of this one and come under itself again. So now this way we have none of the rope facing the direction we're pulling. The 3-way sheet bend is really useful if you have to connect 2 pieces of rope to one. And again, it's the exact same thing. Come up through the middle, back around, and up under itself. Now you could also take this one step further and make it like the one-way sheet bend, so that your tail ends, when dragging, pulling against yourself if you're dragging something. So this is just a real good way to, if you have to hang 2 things off one piece of rope or make something, or just a real useful one. Alright, this last one is a quick release sheet bend. And it's essentially the same thing, only a little bit different. You come up through the center, come up behind it, and this time instead of bringing the whole end all the way through, you want to grab just a section of it, a little loop, and pull it through. Now it makes it so that if you pull this, it'll actually become a quick release and pop free. Now one thing to note about this one is you notice I used just a free end on that one, and it pulls apart nice and easy. If you end up using something that already has a fixed loop, since you're going up through the middle, it's actually going to snag on itself some. Now again, it does break away fairly easy, but there is the chance that it could snag or malfunction or something. So as you can see, it pulls nice and tight. You can also vary how easy this is to pull, depending on how much pull force this has, actually obviously makes a difference there, or depending on how long your loop is. So now when you pull, as you can see, if there were weight on the other end or something, it would actually bind up. Now if it's for free, it would pull through, but it just kind of depends on the situation. Again, when you've got just a loose end, it makes it nice and easy. They both pull away free. So I'd recommend that one, if anything. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thanks for watching.